coming up. Will Arnett in studio. What a man. Just wrapped filming a movie with Bradley Cooper. I imagine someone very important in Will's life is jealous about this. He is a proud Canadian. His hockey team is doing everything they can right now. They're up by 1. What does he think of Canada ever becoming the 51st state? Can we buy Will Arnett? Will is here, but wait a minute. Before we do anything, Will's also a very nice golfer. Not as good as his friend Jason Bateman, who's regularly shooting in the 70s these days. We are sponsored by LA Golf, the most technologically advanced golf gear on the market. No more expectations, no more outdated conventions, just individuality. You'll be sinking putts all over the place with the Malibu XT putter. The driver's unbelievable. They got the best equipment. Will, there he is. Do you have any LA Golf gear? I'm going to get you some.
You know, Titleist to me has a place in my heart. That's the gang that I'm affiliated with.
Oh, you were sponsored by them too?
Yeah.
Jesus, man, look at those pipes. Don't get too close to that.
Here's the thing. I'm going to romance this. I'm going to romance this microphone. Because there's so much shouting going. Can I just tell you something? What a thrill it is to be here because I love you.
Oh, thank you, buddy.
And then I come in here and it's insane. This is
Have you ever been out to Van Nuys where we are?
I've been to Van Nuys a couple of times. What I usually like to do is I like to have a recording studio as close as I can to an airport. That's like rule number 1 in show business. Find me an airport. That's where we're going to set up shop. Secondly, a couple of things. This is like upscale Alex Jones in here. It's crazy. There's insanity. There's people in there. They're all in your cult or something. I don't know who everybody is, but they're gorgeous. And they're
Aren't they
nice
gorgeous?
People. They're beautiful people. Everybody's very nice. Thirdly, years ago, I'm watching television. I'm up to work early in the morning, and it's about 6 a.m., maybe 5:30, making a cup of coffee, and I hear sirens going off like crazy.
Yeah.
I'm living in Venice at the time, going bananas with the sirens and the helicopters and stuff. And it's close to me. I'm quite close to Venice Boulevard itself. I flip on the TV. I'm having my first coffee of the morning. Again, very early. And there's a car chase, a police chase right next to me. You ready for this? They go down Venice, take a right on Pacific, go all the way to, north to Pico, take a right at Pico, and then go just past 4th. They tuck into this little, right next to Santa Monica High School. The guy gets out of the car from the helicopter shot. He comes out of his car with his hand, and he gets killed on live TV.
No.
First thing in the morning.
No, I never see that.
I saw the guy actually die, and then I had to go to work.
That's why they have gotten so now they have to cover everything. They're so afraid of that happening again. That was the moment you watched it?
It was traumatizing. I was like,
I thought you were going to say the guy ran right through my living room. He jumped over my kitchen counter and out through the back.
No, he just crumpled. They just lit this guy up. And then I was like, well, I guess I got to go to work. I just saw a human being die.
Oh, my God.
As a Canadian, I got to say, it was really tough.
As a Canadian, everything's tough now. I mean, how are you Canadians doing up there? Other than your Toronto Maple Leafs, I'm sorry about the loss.
Now we're tied.
Is it tied 2-2? It's 2-2.
And you were kind enough to text me last night during the game to offer support.
I did.
Which I appreciated. They're tied 2-2. I'm very bullish on the Toronto Maple Leafs. I always have been.
Did you play any hockey as a kid?
I did.
Not
at the highest level. Not, if
you're a cool kid, which I'm sure you were, I'm sure people liked you a lot. You were in the cool crowd. I'm gonna guess.
I was in every crowd.
Well, what if you didn't play hockey? Like, did you have to play hockey at least?
You know what? Truth be told, I played hockey, and then when I was about 13, I got I was a goaltender. I was a goalie, and I got
really
and I lost my spot as the starter, and I was like, F this. And I went and I joined. This is going to sound, now this is not relatable. So I just want to say this out. I don't know who's watching this show. I don't know what your demo is.
It's all about relatability, Will. You got, everything needs to be relatable.
I joined the ski team. Okay. So,
ski?
Yeah. But because there were girls on the ski team. Hockey was just a bunch of dudes. And I was like, look at these ding-dongs playing hockey.
Athletic, muscular, beautiful.
Anyway.
So you're a good skier. You ever do any curling? It's a Canadian sport. I think
I've curled not enough. As a Canadian, not enough. It's a fantastic.
Thanks, Canada, for the curling.
Do you watch it during the Olympics?
I do. I watch everything during the Olympics, but I'll ingest anything.
It's mesmerizing.
Yeah.
You know what I figured out about you, Billy? This is one of the things, and there's so many things I like about you. One of the things is I figured out you speak like you're from the 40s. Has anybody ever told you that? You talk like it's in the 1940s. I mean, if you just change some of your verbiage,
and
you go, listen, if this dame comes in here again, I'm going to bust this joint up, If you started talking like that, nobody would be.
There's a little, you know what I'm saying? There's a little Regis sometimes we could jump into Regis. You know what I'm saying?
There is
Will Arnett is here, everybody. What a great guy. And for the young people, you don't know who Regis was. Very, very famous guy. Did talk show.
Here's the other thing. I want to bring it up. I brought it up to you the other day.
Okay.
My dad, the great Jim Arnett, has written 2 books since COVID. He's retired many years. And the last book, and I think I told you this, the last book, he did some deep dive on this character, the member of my family going back forever. He did a bunch of deep research on my mom's side. And he found out, he wrote this book called the Monmouth Manifesto, and it's all about sort of around the American Revolution. And my family were American back then.
Really?
So when people say, I am Canadian, but
Defectors.
also originally American. And there was a guy at the center of this book called Richard Lippincott, of who your family are also descendants.
We're descendants of the Lippincotts?
We both are.
Really?
You and I.
It's a name you got to say carefully.
You and I are related.
We are?
Yeah.
Oh, brother.
Dick Lippincott.
His
name was Rich.
I'm not sure. I think I need some research on this. We got a whole staff back there researching.
Listen, we got the hot mic. Let's get the hot mics research staff. Where's Mandel?
You know, that's interesting. I texted Mandel and I said, your native countryman is the one day Mandel. Oh, Mandel has responded.
I like this microphone.
I said,
right
terrible day for you not to be here. Your fellow countryman, Will Arnett, in studio. Ah, shit, he says. I love him. I don't know him, but he's brilliant. Tell him I'm a fan.
He's thinking of someone else, obviously.
No. It's Will Arnett.
Yes, okay.
Listen, you just got done filming a movie with Bradley Cooper.
I did.
Did you have to now don't take this the wrong way.
Okay.
You were a little fuller figured when you left. The last I saw you before you took off.
Don't take it the wrong way.
Don't take it the wrong way.
Okay.
A little fuller figured.
Sure.
Did they say drop a couple for the role, or did you get a tapeworm, or what happened? Or did you do the shot, the fat shot?
Couple
as Trump says, the fat shot.
A couple things. Anytime somebody says no offense, get ready.
I'm going to offend you.
Get ready.
Yeah.
No, I decided last year. You know what? You're right. That's a very astute observation. I was like,
well, it's when I hugged you is when I really felt it.
I'm beefy. Right?
Yeah.
I was beefy. And I'm in my 50s now. I'm not ashamed to. I just turned 55. And I thought, last year at this time, I was like, you know what? Once you get to this age, it's harder you can't eat like you're at a 12-year-old's birthday party every day. You know what I mean?
I know, it sucks.
So I just decided to start watching and that's all I did. I didn't do anything else. Hand to God, I didn't take anything else. No, I just watched and I had a very sort of measured diet for it. I employed some discipline, and because I knew that I was going to do this role and I wanted to be a little different. That's why my hair is a little bit longer and I got a little scruffier. And
do you work out, or is it? Could they say it's 80% food, 20%? Do you I see you play golf, but
Let me walk you through my workout regimen. Have you seen Rocky 3?
Yeah, I saw all of them.
So just
had Dolph Lundgren on last week. Love him. Yeah,
I saw that he was on there. Brilliant guy. I love that guy.
Yeah.
Imagine waist deep snow and rail ties. This is very unorthodox what I'm doing. I'm living very close to the bone.
This is a load of crap.
Okay. It's a lot.
Picture the rail ties.
Okay.
Okay.
It's cinder blocks. It's stuff, and it's 4 a.m. I'm like one of these guys you see online who talk about, I have 5 days in a day. I wake up before I go to sleep, that whole thing. And that's me. And I'm cold plunge. I sleep in a cold plunge. You know what I mean? My car is a sauna with wheels. So I get some. Let's be honest, it's the cigs.
It's you're on the supermodel diet of champagne and cigarettes, except for you quit the champagne.
Champagne.
No champagne.
No champagne, but it's coffee and cigs and the occasional American champagne, Diet Coke. And then I'm good to go. But I do work out. I have a very robust cardiovascular program in place. I don't know.
Who do you like better, Bradley Cooper or Jason Bateman?
Bradley Cooper. Sorry, hang on. Let me think about it.
Bradley Cooper.
No,
I
love, I've been friends with both of them over 20 years.
Okay.
I love them both dearly. And I'm brother. You know what? It's like picking your brothers. They're both. I consider them both to be brothers, and yeah, it's a tough one.
So what was the movie you and Bradley you just finished filming? What was it?
We just wrapped. Yeah, more to come on that. It's a film based on a true story.
Comedy?
It's sort of. It's about a guy who kind of delves into stand-up comedy, but it's really about a relationship that's falling apart, a marriage that's falling apart. True story.
Are you going to make me cry in this movie? There's nothing I love more than a really funny guy who does something to me in the like Steve Carell when he first. What was the movie that Carell, was it Dan in Real Life or something where I was like, oh,
yeah, the
man I laugh at all the time or with is making me, are you going to have a moment like that in this?
You know, I don't know.
You have I mean, I can see you do it.
We'll see. I mean, we hope that it turns out well. You know,
I see the hands moving like this. I don't know. Have you been watching too much television? I don't.
You got PTSD, my friend.
I think I thought something, I saw something.
Don't make me go. You do the voice first. You do it.
I'm not doing it.
Do the voice.
Oh, we're going to have plenty of time to do it.
Do you ever do it? Do you ever talk about it?
Absolutely.
You do?
Can't help it. There he is, everybody. Very great guy. Probably the most handsome guy. Will Arnett. Everybody
so one
loves
time,
Will.
I keep looking at your staff because they're great.
They're great. They're hanging on every word. Look at the guys. There they all are.
I want to include them. And so they're there. So I want to include them. So Billy and I were playing golf a couple of years ago, and we're teeing off, and he's standing over the ball. Just that quiet moment he's about to hit, and I go, so you still talk to Trump? Really caught him off guard.
The voice, Will. The voice is, you've had consistent voice work since like 20s, right?
Yes.
Voice of GMC trucks for how long?
That's coming up. Let me do the math on that. This year, what are we, 2025? This year it'll be 27 years.
27? Yeah. You get in the 90s, you get this gig,
yeah,
and they don't fire you? They stick with you for that? You didn't do anything to get fired?
No. I mean,
did you just get deeper and deeper, I bet? You weren't this deep 27 years ago.
No, it was raspy, but probably not as deep. But there were, I don't know. I kind of had this voice all of a sudden when I was about, sort of 14. It kind of, not as deep, but it had that sort of, whatever that call it, and so I started in the end of '98 with the folks at GMC Trucks.
Now, did you have this voice like when you were like when you were in 6th grade, where you're like, "Hey, teach, I need to."
Not exactly like this, but I will say that it did hurt me when I was like in my 20s because I had such a baby face, so I looked, and then I had this voice. It would kind of hurt me,
It's a beautiful voice.
Goddamn paparazzi. They're everywhere.
I know. I got paparazzi in the studio.
I'm getting popped. I'm getting popped in the studio.
Yeah, come on. Get a good shot. Don't just get him from the side. Work him right here. He's a sitting duck. He can't move. You can just keep taking shots of him.
By the way, I pull up and your staff, and they're recording me as I come in the door. I'm not ready.
We've never had a celebrity of your size on the program. This is big.
That's not true.
This is a massive booking. I'm going to say it.
I texted Billy.
Will
I'm like,
Arnett,
you want me to drive
studio.
out to Van Nuys? I mean, this is how much I love you.
Oh, I owe you. Whatever it is, I owe you. You drove a long way
No, you did drive
in that very nice car of yours.
Yeah, and by the way,
GMC, I assume.
Of course, obviously.
Right.
It's a GMC Yukon XL.
How funny is it that Bateman, your Brohim,
yeah,
I don't know if he still is, but I think the voice of like
Hyundai.
Hyundai.
Yeah.
You must love that.
Yeah, I do love it.
I'll do the trucks and the manly stuff. You take the Hyundai.
I said to, and then John Hamm does Mercedes. And last
he does a nice job with that.
He does by the way, he does a great. Both of those guys do a great job.
Great little series he's doing.
He does
Your Friends and Neighbors.
Friends and Neighbors. He's fantastic. I love Hamm. And so I saw him last summer, and he said we were talking about VO, and he says, yeah. He goes, well, I've been doing Mercedes, over 13 years. I said, that's cute.
It's cute.
That's cute.
It's nice for you.
That's nice.
Try doubling that.
But he is great at it, isn't he?
Boy, I really want to ask you how much money you've made on just GMC, but it's really tacky.
Yeah, I know. Thank God you never asked.
I'm not going to do it.
I know.
I'm going to wonder.
I know.
But it might be north of like $30 million. It's probably way over that. Holy crap. It didn't start that way.
Should we get my accountant on the line?
Yeah. Why not? I'd love to know where everything is. I'd like to know how much is in, what do you guys use up there?
We use dollars. First of all, what are you guys?
Mule bucks? What are you mule?
Listen,
moose bucks?
This is how you talk to your family?
Sorry. Oh, my God.
Cousins.
Dear Brother Lippincott.
calling for Dick Lippincott. If you heard that at the airport.
You
No.
made that up.
I didn't make it up. That's a true story. So wait, what were we going to say?
Well, I mean, you've made a lot of money, and I'm going to speak to your accountant later, but
Sure.
a 27-year gig doing voiceovers, and then Lego Movie, your Lego Batman,
Hershey's.
BoJack Horseman, which was
Horseman.
one of the great. I mean, how you sold that or how that got sold, I don't know. That's what a run there.
That was an interesting one. You know, BoJack, Raphael Bob Waxberg is the guy who created it. Incredible guy, brilliant.
What's
brilliant
his
guy.
family makeup? Raphael Bob Waxberg.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
He's got a little of everything going on.
It's a hell of a handle, and you either don't forget it or you completely forget it. You know. But he's a brilliant guy, and he had this thing that he wanted to do, and we made a 13-minute pilot presentation with all the people who are still in the show, most of them, and everybody said no. And Ted Sarandos, to his credit, we sent it to Ted,
Who runs Netflix. Sorry, I figured I thought this just went out to Hollywood. I'll handle the outside baseball. You handle the inside.
Okay, so. Ted Sarandos called me and he said, "I love this thing." And
he called me.
He called, yeah. Well, we were friends. You know, at the time, we are friends. At the time, Arrested Development was just starting one of their first original shows, and Netflix was just getting into the original programming. And so I got to know Ted. He lived around the corner from me, and I got to know him, and he's a heck of a great guy, and watched Netflix.
So you knew him before he took over Netflix?
No, I knew him. No, he was at Netflix.
Or did you time your getting to know him that well?
Right as it was just starting to grow, and as they were just starting to make original programming, is when we started doing Arrested Development over there, the resurgence. And then I did another show with him. I did a show called Flake that I created, and then we did BoJack Horseman, which he, had the vision. He's one of those guys who goes, "I just like that show." And he didn't think about whether it was commercially appealing or whatever. He said, "I just like it. I think it's really funny and interesting." And he allowed Raphael to do what he did best. And if you watch that show, I mean, I think it's got staying power. It's a real testament that the writing on that show is phenomenal. I'm just a vessel for the writing. All of us were for the writing of Raphael Bob Waxberg.
And you do all this voiceover stuff, and you must have a little studio at home where you do SmartLess and you do the
No,
GMC,
I could have done this.
You actually. We should have just had you at home.
I could have been at home.
But you're here. What a great guy.
But you know what I'm going to do is
touched.
from now on, every once in a while, we'll just check in from the booth. We'll do a segment on hot mics where we just check in.
Get that mic of yours hot.
And get the mic hot. And I'll probably be...
They don't have to be here to be hot.
Okay.
And then that's a good idea.
I like this a lot.
Who is, when I look at your career, I had a guy in here, an actor recently, and he told me a great story about that he was like, there was another actor.
An actor in here told me a great story. Could you ever tell me a great story?
Would you mind doing that? He said he was like, he went to college with John Krasinski.
Yeah.
David Walton is the actor. And he said... He went to college, and like Krasinski, then they were both in the theater together, the whole thing. But then Walton hit it before Krasinski, and Krasinski's like, the line went cold, and our friendship, that's it. They would go on like spring break together. And then, then Krasinski gets the office, and Walton's rolling, and he's like, "Buddy, I'm so happy for you." Nothing. And then Krasinski gets huge. Now he's big, and Walton admitted, I had this thing where I was like, fuck, Krasinski, damn it. Do you have a Krasinski, someone that you came up with in the biz that you were competitive with, and literally if they won, you kind of lost a little?
Krasinski. No.
For Krasinski?
No, I love...
Were you always the guy that rooted for your friends, or did you have like a shit? Why is he winning and not me?
No, I did. I always did. I never saw it as a zero-sum game. I always knew that I was never in competition with anybody else. And I think that for me, that just worked. All the people who become your friend, people say, oh, actors are all friends with each other, they all date each other. Those are the people that you spend your time with. Those are the people you're working with.
Yeah, sure.
So that's it. And, I never saw anybody else's success, as, dimming my light ever. And it just made me think like, oh, there's more out there, and I just the way it always was. I always rooted for my friends. I've had a lot of friends in... Bradley is a great example of a guy who always super talented. And
remember he was on like Hell's Kitchen or something, a Fox television show.
No, he was in
a kitchen.
Kitchen Confidential.
Kitchen Confidential was him?
Yeah,
Okay.
he was. Is that what it was? Yeah, Kitchen Confidential. That was the name of the show. He was the star of that. He had a couple shows. He was on
Canceled
Alias.
quickly, though.
He was on Alias before that.
Right.
And then he did that, and he did a bunch of things. But he was a super talented guy, and watched him, and he got, he finally got the right roles that he was able to kind of go to that thing. And I'm like, this is fantastic. He deserves it.
Yeah.
Jason.
Jason.
Jason doesn't deserve it.
No, he
Bateman.
does deserve it.
He does.
He told me a great story. Maybe you can resonate now here. I'm going to come at you from another angle through another actor. Bateman told me a great story. He said
That's surprising.
he said before arrest, like nothing was going well.
Yeah.
Like he was partying too much. He was like a party animal and and that probably had something to do with it. But he said he was up for the role of the Verizon guy, the guy with the glasses.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
They were going to go either with that guy or they were going to go with, a slightly well-known at the time guy, and it was either him. And he lost to that guy, and he's like, that's it. I can't even get the Verizon Can You Hear Me Now gig.
Yeah.
Like, this is... And then he was like almost about to give up. Did you
I did.
ever get to a moment where you're like, this sucks, I suck, I'm out?
Yes, I did. I had the year before, so I did a pilot. I did a bunch of pilots. I did a show that 2 episodes aired, then they canceled. And then I did a pilot and a pilot and a pilot. And I did a pilot for a show, and it got picked up to series. And I thought, great, this is great. It's going to be a great job. I was living in New York. My wife at the time was on SNL, Amy. And I thought, but now I got a great job. And it goes to series, and they go, hate to break it to you, you're not coming to series with us. We're writing that part out. You're out. And I was fired. And I took it really hard.
Wow.
And I was bummed.
Like the show's going forward. Everything's going forward. The only thing we're changing
is you.
Is
me. And so the show, and it was, at the time, it was like, and at the time I was 32. And I thought, you know what? I've been living in New York 12 years. Just couldn't get that thing, couldn't get over the hump. And I just thought, screw it. And I eventually started rehearsal. This guy was doing a play in New York, off-Broadway play, and I said I agreed to do it with this director I'd worked with before. And I just said to my people at the time, I'm done with TV. I'm done with Los Angeles. I was living in New York. I'm just going to do theater and do the voiceover on the side.
I'm going to wear a black turtleneck the rest of my life, smoke cigarettes and espresso.
That's exactly right.
And be a thespian.
And that's it. And then I get a call. They said there's a script. They're casting this show. And I said, well, I'm not interested. I said, they didn't offer it to me, but they said you should. And I should say this: the woman who cast the pilot the year before that I got fired from, she wrote me a letter, Deb Barilski, and I've mentioned her before because she really. This is a really good, and you don't have a lot of these moments in our business. And she wrote me actually wrote me a letter mailed to my house saying, and she'd cast me in the show. She said, I thought it was really, bullshit that they fired you from the thing, blah, blah, blah. I think you're great. Don't let it get you down too much. I think you're a talented kid, blah, 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 all this sort of stuff. You're a great guy. And it really meant a lot to me to get that letter.
So you checked the envelope to make sure that it was addressed to you. And once you realized, oh my God, it's me.
I'm the good guy, yeah. And so she says that, and I thought, wow, this is what a nice, kind thing. 6-8 months later, she's the one casting the show. She calls my agent, says, well, we'll come in and read for this. He's put himself on tape in New York. And I said, no, I'm doing it. And eventually, it's a show, Arrested Development. He would be great. Finally, one day I go and I take the subway uptown. I put myself on tape. I don't think about it. The next day they call and they want to fly you to California to test for the show for Arrested Development. And I was like, huh, okay. And I did, and I went out and I got it. And I tell you a couple things. And I've learned this a lot. Again, I mentioned that I'm 55, and I'm doing it because I'm fishing for compliments. But the other thing I'm trying to do is to say that my experience has taught me that, and it is so true, and you hear it, and it sounds woo-woo, and it sounds kind of BS-y. It's true. You never know when one door shuts that another one's opening, and you have to. That's faith, right? That's what we call faith. And I couldn't have known that if I hadn't been fired from that show the year before, I wouldn't have been available to do Arrested Development. It was the best thing that ever could have happened to me in my life was getting fired that year. It was the single best professional thing to happen was not getting hired on Arrested, was being fired from Still Standing.
And Barilski? Deb Barilski?
Deb Barilski.
Deb Barilski?
Deb Barilski.
Deb Barilski wouldn't have owed you one. and she owed you one. You don't have a Krasinski. You have a Barilski.
I got a Barilski.
That's even better than a Krasinski.
You're right. Way better.
You have a Barilski, and so she had a feeling about you. You go out, but that's what Bateman said. It's the same show. Arrested Development for him was he was like, I lost the can you hear me now thing. I'm washed up. I'm done. I'm never gonna make it. Then he gets arrested. So you both have the same launching point.
That's right. And obviously he'd had a much bigger career before, as a kid, and we all knew who he was, and he'd been bothering us for years. But he had but we both came into it at the same point at the same age of that feeling of like sort of defeated. And we do this show, and we met at that time, and he and I were instantly best friends. And I think that we appreciated it. We appreciated how good the writing was, and how lucky we were to be there working on this show. And there wasn't a day that went by that I didn't drive through that gate at the Fox lot and put my card on the thing for the thing to go up that I didn't appreciate. I'm not joking. I'm a pretty cynical guy half the time, or I'm joking, pretending to be cynical. I appreciated it every single day.
And you still do?
Yeah, absolutely, I still do.
With all the money and houses and everything?
Yeah, I don't even know how many houses.
So many houses. Do you keep anything up in Canada just to keep it real?
I keep a little something.
Ski lodge?
Just a little something.
Something. You gotta have something up there.
I don't. I mentioned this like
you should have like a maple
shameless
syrup farm or something that you just stay connected. There's some great Canadians.
I'm part of a pub. My friend Jamie Kerr runs a pub up there in Toronto. Who I was just talking about today on our podcast. I do a podcast called.
What's it called? Dumb something. Dumb.
And on the SmartLess podcast I talked about today, we have
it's a very big podcast.
Yeah, with Sean Hayes and Jason Bateman, and. I was talking about the pub is called the Queen and Beaver. It's a gastro pub in Toronto.
The Queen and Beaver?
The Queen and Beaver.
You're not going to get me to giggle.
It's a great
I've grown
name.
up a lot.
It's a great name.
Yeah, not going to giggle.
The Beaver's the Canadian.
What's so funny
animal?
about the Queen?
I don't know.
Nothing.
No.
What's the other part? The Queen? What?
The Queen and Beaver.
Queen and Beaver. Who named it that and why?
Jamie Kerr, my partner.
He names it?
Brilliant guy. So I do have that. I have connections, and I obviously have the Toronto Maple Leafs. My family's all up there and stuff, yeah.
Your dad, you mentioned before,
Yeah.
I mean, a hero of mine.
Yeah.
He was the CEO of Molson Beer.
He was. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you just had a lot of free beer around, I bet.
Unlimited.
Oh, your friends must have loved that.
Yeah.
When is the you've fallen off the wagon before, right?
Okay. Well, wait. What do we?
Are you done? They're like.
Yeah, it's just not.
It's
for
clearly
me.
working well for you not to drink.
It's just not for me. It's just not for me.
Who helped you with that? Who
didn't?
Really?
Who didn't?
Were there people that said, "Will, you're drinking too much. You gotta."
Yeah, of course. I listen, man. I owe so much to so many people. I have so many. Here's all joking aside about the sort of the stuff that comes with it, and you've been around a long time, and and you come from a dynastic family yourself.
Yeah, huge.
Right? Is that huge?
Huge.
Huge.
You want huge? I'll show you huge. Okay. Not one, but two. Okay.
Is that that's true?
Yeah, you have one,
two.
Two. Okay.
Yeah. So is that I'm really rich with great friends. I have so many great friends. It's true, and it sounds.
Oh, I thought you said I'm really rich, with also great friends.
No.
Okay.
No. I have such an incredible group and base of friends. A lot of lifelong friends, people who I've been friends with a long time. And who help you keep your feet on the ground. And as much, half the time I'm doing bits, and is that to me is the great marker. And I have so many people who, over the years I've been able to rely on and lean on and stuff. Man, I honestly am the luckiest guy in the world.
I'll tell you, what you also have is what I have. We're two guys that have a very similar situation. Excellent relationships with our ex-wives.
That's true.
With whom we share children.
Yeah.
We get my ex-wife Sydney and I. We have Thanksgiving together. We have Christmas with the kids, and everything's great. And I understand you call you did it. You said Amy today.
Yeah.
But most of the time you call her Polar. And when you call her Polar, I say it's probably that you were better off as friends. I mean, when your last name, your wife. Hey, Polar.
I'm not alone in that. A lot of people call her Polar.
Yeah.
She doesn't call me Arnett.
No. What does she call you?
Not often.
It's me that calls.
No, Tina calls me Arnett. But Amy calls me Will. Yeah, I'm really, really lucky. You're right. I like you. I'm very, very lucky that
We're in a very small percentage, I think.
I agree.
I really, most of these situations are bitter. And, geez, if you can... if you say it's about the kids, well, then make it about. And then there's probably something you liked about each other if you were going to go have them in the first place.
100%.
Find that.
Yeah, 100%. No, she's a great person, super smart, super funny, great mom.
You know what I love about Amy Poehler?
Tell me.
She stays in the joke. I'll never forget, was it the Golden Globes or something where she was like playing Michael J. Fox's nephew? And it was like she was standing there and she was like at the Golden Globes, they always have somebody's kid is the award person. Right. And she was like, I'm Michael J. Fox's, son or something, or nephew. And she hung in this joke as a little kid.
Committed.
And by the way, it was like, I don't know if this is working. She never broke. She held. And then all of a sudden it became funny, then very funny, then laugh out loud. Many people would have crumbled and bailed.
Oh, her commitment is legendary, world class. I mean, she's one of the all-time greats. Let's be honest.
Have you done stand-up much?
Well, I started doing stand-up for this film. I started going to practice for this part of this guy who does stand-up, and so
for the Cooper film you did with Bradley.
Yeah. So I started in January. Because we shot in New York, and I started going to the Comedy Cellar every night going up a couple times a night for the first time in my life and doing stand-up.
That must have been horrifying.
Yeah, it was like jumping off a cliff every night. And, stand-up is...
But did you work... So you had to go write a routine.
Yeah,
did you have, stand-up friends who helped you write a routine?
Yeah, I did. And, Bradley and I wrote this film with this guy, Mark Chappell. And so we wrote a lot of the stand-up for my character. And then our friend Bob Castrone, who's a brilliant writer, who writes a lot for Nikki Glazer, amongst other people. Ooh. Bob came and helped us, and we wrote stand-up. But, I'm writing for me, but I'm really writing for this character. So it was an interesting exercise. And then I'd go up and get introduced as this character.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would just think that I can do a television show for millions. I cannot in front of a room like that. You know why? Because their expectation is we're here. You have to make us laugh. There's an expectation. If you do it at a table, sitting with a bunch of guys on a patio, no expectations. These people just paid money.
You're talking about a golf club.
I mean, wherever. Some place where I might play golf with you. I don't know.
But it is true. I do think this. I do think that you could be a stand-up. If you sat down, you wrote jokes, you're a very funny guy. You're one of the most naturally funny people that I know. I truly mean that. It's off the cuff. It's off the cuff, and it's phenomenal. It's very funny. Your timing is excellent, and you do understand how to read a room. So I do think that you could do it if you could write material. Part of it is, the truth is, the other half is writing really good jokes. And when you realize that these stand-ups are writing this incredible material, it's really impressive. I just did this gig up in Toronto, this charity gig for this hospital. Oh, you guys don't do applause?
Oh,
for charity.
Oh, my, what a wonderful man.
So...
Here they thought you were just some self-absorbed asshole.
No,
you're not.
No, I was good at it. No, it's
Gervais. Oh my
God. No. I did this charity, and then and we got Sebastian Maniscalco kindly came up and did an hour.
Wow. In
this thing, and watching him work the crowd and do this, and so polished and so fantastic. And I got to see a lot of these other stand-ups. Shane Gillis was really kind to me in this process, and he gave me some time. We went down to Austin. We did it. We performed at Joe Rogan's club down there, and I met with all these incredible stand-ups and talked to them, and it was just amazing. And watching them go and do the clubs too, Billy Burr, all these guys, Amy Schumer,
they've all had their teeth kicked in. They know how to do this. They're comfortable.
And watching them work on their jokes and work on their material and work it out, really impressive stuff.
I love that. Do you have to pick up the kids or anything? Or
no. They're fine.
They're fine, right?
Yeah, I mean,
fine. Get an Uber.
No, I do. I'm going to drive over. I got to drive over. Luckily, I'm in the valley. I'm going to drive over and pick up the kids.
All right. Well, I mean, if you have to go right now, we're going to take a little break. We come back. We got some wild stuff that we're going to run with here.
Really? More Menendez. You know who? Menendez stuff. You guys did an hour on the Menendez brothers.
We've got.
Jesus, did you solve it yet?
That's a big one.
Are you following that? Is this show called Cold Case? What's going on?
Wait till you see what's happened. Like you did. I've got some. You wouldn't believe what's going on. There's some.
What's happening?
Trump is going crazy. He's taking a free plane.
I saw the plane. I saw the plane.
He's got, they're all lining up to say the greatest things about him. He's ragging on a friend of his who took a fat shot and it didn't work. He's too fat, and it's all live and it's all loose, and we're back in 30.